That crate with that Koopa shell is one fewer candy at Christmas. That giant f***ing pipe that just pops you out right next to it pointlessly is that $5 penalty on your next birthday. Nintendo is pissed at us, and they're letting us know it. And of course, they're also permanently banning people who break the terms of service with their Switch too. Anything from inappropriate usernames to straight up attempting to use pirated games are getting people irreversibly yeeted off the Switch 2 grid with no course or chance to apologize. And there's also the fact that they've kind of deliberately gone against what gamers have expressed they wanted with Mario Kart World. Since the game's launch, the general audience has expressed a dislike for the intermission races in between the multi-lap circuit tracks. Nintendo, in a recent update to Mario Kart World, made the selection of 3-lap courses significantly less likely to get picked in worldwide mode racing.
What's going on, guys? I am back on Angry Guy's YouTube channel. And hey, I think Nintendo has some sort of resentment towards the fans, a resentment towards gamers, towards the consumer. They have some internal anger, some internal rage towards gamers who leaked the Nintendo Switch 2 back in 2024 when the first leaks were revealed. And now they are taking their anger out on the fans. They're taking their anger out because if you know anything about Nintendo, they hate it when people leak their information. They hate it. They're very controlling over their intellectual properties, They're very, very, very possessive. Guys, it's your boy Andy Matrix. If you haven't heard of me, go ahead and check out Andy Matrix Gaming, where I talk about anime, gaming, Japanese culture, and geek culture, pop culture in general. So if you're into any of those things, make sure to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 3,000 subscribers. If you'd like to help me out with that, I thank you very much. Click the link in the description to follow me on Andy Matrix Gaming. And guys, make sure to follow Angry Guy on Rumble. Right, because YouTube has become the censor station, and Angry Guy has, Angry Guy is uploading his videos on Rumble, and he even has new content over there. So go ahead and check that out. And finally, do not let Klaus Schwab and the elites tell you that you own nothing and be happy. Okay, for the all digital future, you're gonna want to invest into cryptocurrency. So check out Angry Guy's Crypto Academy, where you learn how to buy, sell, and day trade crypto, make a profit off of crypto. The link is in the description. Now, let's get on with the show. So, after watching this video from Space Castle, it seems that Nintendo is taking its anger out on gamers through the games that we buy, the games that we consume. It's a very passive-aggressive way of saying, hey, we don't like you. Hey, we don't like you, right? Or hey, you're making us work too hard. Nintendo's using nostalgia, the nostalgia that gamers have of all the old IPs, from Mario to Zelda, and trolling the shit out of gamers within the game. Okay, I've seen other artists do this. I've seen not necessarily other gamers, other game developments, but I've seen this in the world of art. We have seen this in the world of art, and we've actually seen it in the Hollywood industry, where they will turn a character into a rainbow character, just because they know the fans are not going to like it, right? So there's that revenge, when the woke people in Hollywood added things to movies just to mess with the fans. So they were using the intellectual property of the movie to express their hatred towards the fans, like Star Wars, like Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. You guys get the point. And I guess with this is the way that game developers would express it within the game that you purchase, which it pisses me off, because it makes me feel like like I'm wasting my money. Like why are you? I know it's a work of art, but why are you showing me how much you hate me in a game? Why are you showing that? And just when you thought you found a treasure, nope, there was nothing there. Just when you thought you found that green mushroom in Mario that's going to give you an extra life, nope, it blows up in your face. So let's go to Space Castle for more of this. Check it out.
So the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 has come and gone to mixed reactions and feelings. A lot of folks were miffed at the price of the console, and they were even more miffed at the price of Mario Kart World as a standalone release, and now people are starting to do weird things like compare the portable screen on the console to high-level gaming monitors, saying the system isn't all that great. It's been a weird situation where the public has never really been this much at odds with Nintendo, and honestly, where Nintendo has never been this much at odds with us. And I think we kind of deserve it. Welcome back to Space Castle, where it's our mission to explore all things nerdy in the universe. I'm your Captain DT, and I had a generally good experience with the Switch 2 launch. I was able to get a pre-order at GameStop and pick it up the day of release, and I was even able to go early that morning to another store to wait in line for a friend who didn't have the time to get there himself, and I was able to get him one too. The console itself looks and feels premium. The new Pro Controller is honestly in contention for one of my top controllers ever, and overall I've had a great time. However, I've been playing a whole lot of Mario Kart World, and I'm seeing some things that have me thinking about things about things that I've steadily convinced myself are true. And those things is that Nintendo are mad at us.
Jesus Christ. Who the f*** taught you grammar?
The road to the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2 was a weird one. The 8-year span of time between the original Switch and this new follow-up obviously had everybody antsy and impatient for news, but leaks of the console's specifications, Nintendo's plans of release, and even the look of the console itself was starting to slip through into the eyes of the public. The most notorious of which was probably the 3D printed Switch 2 replica that accessory maker Genki was showing off at 2025's CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, which is held in Las Vegas every year in January. You see, Genki was flashing around a 2-scale 3D printed model of the Switch 2, which presumably was crafted using dimensions or 3D models provided to them to produce accessories for retail. This turned out not to be the case. Nintendo finally officially announced the Nintendo Switch 2 in early April of 2025, and then a month later filed a lawsuit against Genki on May 2nd in the United States, suing Genki for infringement, unfair competition, and false advertising. Genki claimed that their model of the Switch 2 was actually just crafted based on the other myriad leaks and inflow that was flooding onto the internet. But when Nintendo finally made the Switch 2 announcement, once the leaks had hit their boiling point, Genki's 3D printed model turned out to be pretty fucking accurate. All this to say, I think the insurmountable wave of Switch 2 leaks hitting the internet and people actually having an unauthorized and probably illegal look at the console for the first time pissed Nintendo off. You see, Nintendo likes to do things their own way, and they get angry when people mess that up. And I think the timeline for announcing the Switch 2 and releasing both the console and Mario Kart World were truncated. They could no longer fully control the timing and the narrative, and Nintendo is punishing us for it in more than just the obvious ways. Now, I have enjoyed my time with Mario Kart World. I've unlocked all the characters and all the alternate costumes, I've collected well over 10,000 coins at this point, and I finished all the races and knockout tours at 150cc. Humble brag. The races themselves have been a source of contention for a lot of purists and traditionalists when it comes to Mario Kart. More on that in a bit. But that's not the game's real issue. For me, the real issue is with the open world aspect, which feels unfinished to the point of almost feeling like a series of liminal spaces, which actually kind of makes the open world really interesting to explore in a surreal way. Now, Eddie Austin did a video on his channel of the strange and liminal spaces of Mario Kart World, and I don't presume to speak on it better than he did or to step on his toes. If you're watching this video on a browser, you're going to see a card at the top to go watch that video. It's wonderful. And it helped me to not only reconcile and appreciate the absurdity and strangeness of Mario Kart World's open world, but to also discover something interesting about it. Take, for example, this random crate in the bay/moat area around Peach Stadium. Now, the moat is an interesting area for mostly being empty. There's some coins to collect, there's a block switch to hit, and that's pretty cool. It's weirdly empty and kind of bizarre, but there's still stuff to do. But there's this crate on the northeast side, and sometimes one spawns in the southeastern part of the bay as well. Now, if this was the open world in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, There would be like a Korok or an apple or some arrows in that box, something helpful. But here, it's a shell. That hurts you and slows you down and costs you coins. Inconsequentially, as the coins don't really matter much in the open world exploration, but still, it's weird for Nintendo to punish our curiosity. Now, take a look at this large railway between the area under Question Block Ruins, which is up in the sky in sort of the southeast part of the map, and Peach Beach. It's a pretty long stretch of railway begging you to ride it, explore it, and see where it goes. And you end up next to this large train station and this gigantic pipe. Clearly, you've found someplace interesting, and pipes have often been a method of discovering areas off the beaten path for the entire duration of the Mario franchise. But when we enter the pipe, I'm sorry, that is some passive-aggressive shit right there. Almost hilariously so. Now, I personally do believe that Mario Kart World is probably unfinished. Even beyond the idea that we know content is going to be added to it soon and continuously, and then Nintendo will probably treat it like a work in progress for the duration of its shelf life, just like it did Mario Kart 8.
That is right, guys. And as we're heading into the all digital future, you're going to want to invest into cryptocurrency, okay? And it's, with cryptocurrency, as we're heading to the all digital future, what cryptocurrency is going to do is going to help you, have some sort of freedom outside of the system. And with Angry Guys Crypto Academy, you're going to learn how to invest into crypto, buying and selling crypto, day trading crypto, making a profit of a crypto, and most importantly is learning which coins to buy. There's about 1,000 coins, but only about 10 or 20 of them are going to make it in the future. We shall see. So go ahead and learn from the Angry Guy Crypto Academy. Click the link in the description, everybody.
Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now.
Now, on with the show. So, it's no surprise that Nintendo would do these things, even if we don't use the games to find proof of how much Nintendo hates their fans and their gamers. You can see the passive aggressiveness in the video that we just saw. You can see the passive aggressiveness. It's just like, just by using their products, and we're already experiencing it. The game key cards, the breaking of the console, one inconvenience after the other. We can also find examples of this, like how that guy from Naughty Dog, remember that? Remember The Last of Us? The Last of Us Part 2, man, that game was so controversial. The Last of Us Part 2 with Naughty Dog. What's his name? Neil Druckmann. Some people call him Neil Cuckman. He self-inserted himself. He self-inserted into the game. Right? He added himself to the game. I don't know how to say this. He added himself to the game in The Last of Us Part 2 so that he can bang Abby in that really disgusting scene and also get a chance to kill Joel, one of the main characters of the game. He wanted to kill Joel himself, and they did the whole like face capture. The what you call it? The face scan, body scan, and he made one of the characters pretty much look like him, and then he's the one that beat Joel with I think it was an iron pipe, something like that. We've seen it. It's a form of expression to get their anger out on the type of people that they don't like. It has to do with with these really, really miserable American politics, the left wing, right wing. This all happened during the pandemic, a little bit after the pandemic in 2020, 2021. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, but we have seen this before. It's just that it seems that Nintendo kind of does it more quietly. Just messing with the gamers, messing with the gamer psyche. It makes me not want to like buy any of these products again. All Nintendo games that didn't have this crap. Oh man, these are some crazy times we're living in, bro. Anyways, let's get back to Space Castle.
But I think if Nintendo had their way, the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World probably would have been Christmas 2025 releases, even later possibly, and that both products, especially the game, would have had another 6 months of tweaking and development. Now, Mario Kart World is still a AAA experience, don't get me wrong. It has never crashed on me, I have never experienced a single glitch, and it looks and plays beautifully. But I would bet dollars to donuts that this is not the state Nintendo wanted the game to be in upon release. And I think they took the opportunity to drop these little FUs in the gaps of this empty world. And I kind of love them for it. Well, like I said before, Nintendo is stuck in their ways. They are a much older company than most people realize, and I liken them to your awesome old grandma who also had a little bit of a vindictive streak. Like the grandma who is always like kind and wonderful and fun to be around, but also stubborn and stuck in her ways and totally old school. Like thinking that Ronald Reagan was a good president, or believing that everybody on the internet is trying to put their dicks in you. You'd go and visit Grandma, and it would be the dopest experience. She'd always have activities ready and amazing cookies that you could never find on your own, no matter how hard you looked at the grocery store. You always looked forward to every visit, and every time it would be a memory you would cherish forever. But if you ever crossed her, if you ever missed her birthday dinner, you'd feel it. Not in ways you can necessarily explain to somebody without sounding entirely crazy, but like, in your next birthday card, you get $20 instead of $25. You'd probably receive one less piece of candy in your Christmas stocking than any of your siblings. Even if you didn't notice, she did, and that's all that mattered. That crate with that Koopa shell is one fewer candy at Christmas. That giant f***ing pipe that just pops you out right next to it pointlessly is that $5 penalty on your next birthday. Nintendo is pissed at us, and they're letting us know it. And of course, they're also permanently banning people who break the terms of service with their Switch 2. Anything from inappropriate usernames to straight up attempting to use pirated games are getting people irreversibly yeeted off the Switch 2 grid with no course or chance to apologize. And there's also the fact that they've kind of deliberately gone against what gamers have expressed they wanted with Mario Kart World. Since the game's launch, the general audience has expressed a dislike for the intermission races in between the multi-lap circuit tracks. Nintendo, in a recent update to Mario Kart World, made the selection of 3-lap courses significantly less likely to get picked in worldwide mode racing. That is a pretty deliberate expression of, oh, you don't like this thing that we were pressured into releasing before we wanted? Well, here's more of the thing you don't like as much and less of the thing you want. Suck it. But they're also subtly and coyly sticking it to us with all of these little barbs in the game world itself. We couldn't be patient and let them do their thing and do their thing their own way. All of us scoured the internet for leaks and watched all the videos of people who had 3D prints of the Switch 2. We woke up a bear too early from its hibernation, and that bear is angry. We should have just let it sleep until it was ready to give us another whole new era of awesome games and experiences. I really hope that Nintendo has got it out of their system with Mario Kart World and that Donkey Kong Bonanza is a pure experience from them with little to no jabs and pokes that are hard to interpret as anything other than deliberate.
Yeah, so that part of the game where Donkey Kong goes through that big pipe, then comes out of the other side with nothing, that seemed like a waste of time. That seemed like a waste of time. Wow. I mean, it was just when like I said, just when you thought you found a treasure, poof, there's nothing there. You know? And these little FUs, right? It's almost like they're giving you the middle finger that they put in the game. It is the classic way of how these people at the top abuse the people at the bottom. It also tells you a lot about, what they think about you. What they really think about you. They're being passive aggressive about it, but they're showing you how much they care, how much they love you. I'm being sarcastic, obviously. Think of all the inconveniences that we have had with Nintendo this year, 2025, and how they secretly go after gamers, believing that no one will know that it's exactly them. When they were trying to throw that gamer into prison, right? And they were trying to throw that gamer into prison. People thought that, Nintendo did it quietly, sending sending the Italian police to the gamer's apartment building. And a lot of people in the gaming industry, you get the feeling like, hey, it's Nintendo that must be doing this. It's Nintendo that must be doing this, because who else is trying to take down all these ROM websites? The Nintendo ROM websites. Nobody else was doing that except the Nintendo sent the FBI, obviously. Because we don't see PlayStation doing this. We don't see Xbox, Microsoft doing this. It's only Nintendo. Right? You can feel it in the air. It's like when somebody doesn't like you. You walk into a room, you just kind of know when people don't like you. That's kind of how it feels. It's like when many wealthy individuals, Nintendo loves the money but hates the people that give them the money. Whatever your thoughts are, make sure to comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. Everybody's your boy Andy Matrix. Godspeed.